Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today's episode is jam-packed with new VR games and game updates, as May continues to be a surprisingly good month for VR gamers. We're getting everything from a MOBA title with Starvault, to some horror-themed co-op shooters with Into the Radius 2 and Zombie Army VR, and all the way to games like Vivarium, which allows you to build your own personal aquarium. And that's just a fraction of the new games and updates that are dropping this week. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, today's video is brought to you by the Backbone Pro. Guys, this is one of those accessories I didn't know I needed or wanted until I finally got my hands on it. And you might be thinking, wait a second, this is a VR channel. Why is he promoting a controller? Well, first up, this pairs exceptionally well with the Quest. We'll get to that in just a second, but I also game on everything. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, VR, you name it, I'm a big gamer. And one of the factors that ends up making this product ideal for me is its overall versatility. I could slide my cell phone in and start playing all my native Android apps, or even better, stream my Xbox and Steam games. And this is where the Backbone Pro works really well with the Meta Quest, because it's also a Bluetooth controller that you could use with anything that has Bluetooth connectivity. So connect it to your computer, laptop, phone, you name it, but also your Meta Quest. And if you're one of those people who has Xbox Cloud Gaming, it's ideal. Connect this via Bluetooth, put on your headset, play your Xbox games. Very solid device. I'm loving it. It's great for every time I travel. So if you're interested, go ahead and pick one of these up. There'll be a link down in the description. But right now, let's start things off like normal with the check-in, and that's what exactly have I been up to in the VR world. Well, if you saw my video last week, I was playing the Midnight Walk and I finally made my way through it. I did have some Steam VR issues, which the developers did find and correct. Awesome on them. But in that time, I played through it on the PlayStation VR 2, and I also played it flat screen PC. And I have to say, the game is absolutely brilliant. I loved every moment of it. It kind of reminded me like a really dark, creepy version of Moss. Even though there's no combat and it's really not a parkour game, just certain aspects of how you're in this really well-defined and beautiful world. It also has some extremely memorable characters in it. Like, how many times have you played through a game and you don't know the names of the enemies? Well, here I do. You got the Crawler and you got the Grinners, which are awesome. The Moonbird, they're all just so cool. The Craftman, everything in this game is just like a piece of artwork, and I loved it. I think everyone should experience this title. Maybe it's a little expensive for you right now. Wait for a sale. Whatever the case may be, I loved it. It's near my top 10, if not on the list for sure. But let's move into some new games releasing this week. First up is the free-to-play MOBA title Starvault. It's currently in open beta for testing, but you could already jump in for 5v5 battles, utilizing 9 unique heroes, all with their own weapons, skills, and playstyles. Now, the MOBA genre is completely underrepresented in VR, so if you've been itching for something in that genre, go jump into this right now, because as I said, it's free to play during testing, and I'm really hoping that the developers nail this one, because we're definitely lacking a solid MOBA experience in VR. But if MOBAs just aren't for you, how does a cyberpunk wheelchair roguelike shooter sound? I'm pretty sure that sounds quite weird, but that's what Quantum Threshold plans to deliver. This is an action-packed experience where rogue AIs have taken over the world, and you're the wheelchair-bound underdog who's fighting back. Overall, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I like the style, it looks pretty cool. If the action delivers, I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but we've seen other games attempt the whole wheelchair thing and it rarely feels right, so fingers crossed that they end up nailing this one. But I have a lot less doubt on our next title, Into the Radius 2. The early access version is currently available on Steam VR, and later this week, Questers will also be able to jump in for some of that horror survival gameplay. Now, if you played the original title, you know how good this series is, and the sequel is not only giving you more of the same, but also introducing a co-op mode. So if you originally found this post-apocalyptic fight for survival in this eerie, creature-filled world to be a bit too scary, well, at least now you have some backup. Now, as much as I'm expecting this to be a great title over time, I just want to remind you guys, this is the early access version, and it is definitely not close to finished just yet. Now, sticking with co-op titles, we're also finally getting Zombie Army VR. This is a spin-off of the Flatscreen title, similar to what we got with Sniper Elite VR. We're once again going back to World War II, but this time we're fighting against Nazi zombies left behind by Hitler's cultists. Now this is completely playable in both single player and co-op, and I'm honestly really excited for this game. Now I'm planning to cover Zombie Army VR this week, so if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe and come back when I drop that video. Also, like normal, every single week, if there's a game you want me to cover, let me know down in the comments. Say, please cover Slap Fighter or whatever it may be. I'll do my best to get to as many games as possible. And your feedback always helps, guys. It also helps the algorithm. So if you want to see more reviews, let me know what you want down in the comments. And since I just mentioned Slap Fighter, let's get into that title. This is a playful fighting game filled with unique, over-the-top enemies, and your end goal is to slap them silly in a 1v1 fight. Now, originally, this game was listed as dropping this week, but I just checked the store page and it's been updated to an autumn release. So I'll keep you guys in the loop for any new information I hear about this game. But let's change pace a bit with the psychological horror Out of Sight. Now, similar to the Midnight Walk, this is a brand new title that's releasing simultaneously on Flatscreen and in VR. You'll take on the role of a young blind girl who actually sees through the eyes of her teddy bear, but unfortunately, she's currently trapped in a horror-filled mansion that you're gonna have to help her find her way through. Now I'm really curious to see how the third-person camera plays out. I hope it gets utilized in a similar fashion like The Fisherman's Tale, and if they end up delivering a cool storyline with some fun puzzles, I think this could be a very solid title. But if horror's not for you guys and you just want to chill out more in VR, the last two games on today's list should be perfect for you. First up is Vivarium, which allows you to build your very own aquarium or terrarium in both mixed and virtual reality. There's 18 different saltwater animals, 10 different forms of marine algae, and plenty of other cosmetic items to get your tank looking exactly how you want it. So now you could actually break into this hobby for a fraction of the price and not have to worry about things like actually feeding your fish and cleaning out a dirty tank. Now, if you actually want to be more hands-on with your animals, Pets and Stuff is releasing for Steam VR this week. This game previously released on the Meta Quest and currently has a 4.8 rating with nearly 2,000 reviews. Well, if you're a Steam VR gamer and wanted in on that action, where you get to groom and care for an array of different pets, well, you could actually jump into this game right now, as is a free demo currently available on Steam prior to this game's full release. And that was all of this week's new releases, but we still have 5 more game updates to go over. And just a reminder, guys, if you want reviews for any of these things, please drop the comments below or just leave anything, help the algorithm out. But let's get into it. Starting off with a topic that isn't a huge impact to the VR gamer, but it is a recent trend that we keep seeing more and more of, and that's the fact that Alien Rogue Incursion is coming to flat screen later this year. Now, back when it was originally announced that Servio got access to the Alien IP for a game, it was stated it was coming to VR and flat screen, so I've been waiting quite some time for this announcement. Now, as much as I love built from the ground up games for VR, I do really enjoy the hybrid approach when it's done right. This gives developers much higher potential earnings, leading to bigger and better games, which is always good. But on the topic of money, Vrchat is introducing a marketplace for avatars. Now, just like normal, Vrchat can't do anything without some controversy, and we are seeing some community pushback, as Vrchat is going to take 50% of the sale. Now, obviously that is quite aggressive, but you could make the argument that a built-in marketplace will lead to more total sales. However, without any real data, we can't confirm that just yet. Now, I'm personally not a big VR chat person, but the avatar system was always something I really loved about the game, and people build some truly amazing stuff, so I hope they're rewarded for it. But jumping into our first straight VR game update, VR's only Souls-like game Grimlord is getting the Sands of Glory update, which is a brand new free DLC. Now, Grimlord is honestly one of those underrated VR games, and it offers up way more than we usually get from a VR title. There's a huge world to explore, tons of challenging bosses, a full RPG system, and that unforgiving Souls-like nature that people either love or hate. Now, this latest new DLC adds an arena area with new bosses, unique rewards, and an expanded weapon upgrade system. So if you're an RPG or Souls-like fan, I recommend you at least put Grimlord on your wishlist and wait for a sale. Now, we also just got a sneak peek of the PCVR version of Dungeons of Eternity. This is one of my all-time favorite action RPG games available on the Meta Quest, and it's basically everything I look for in a VR game, with solid physics-based combat, strategic co-op gameplay, high replayability, and a kick-ass leveling system. Now, this title is planning the release in the near future for Steam VR, and we recently just got a glimpse at how much prettier it's going to be, so I can't wait to jump back into this title. And today's last gaming update comes to Death Game Hotel. The title recently went free to play, so you could jump in right now and start gambling your body parts in everything from a game of poker to much more unique titles. Now, I definitely enjoyed this game when I originally played through it. I just didn't find any aspect that kept pulling me back in, but with a much larger free-to-play community and the title also coming to Steam VR next week, it might be worth it to get back in and see how much this title has progressed. And that right there was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing.